News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with an act of political violence in Utah. This morning, police are continuing the search for the gunman who killed Charlie Kirk. The conservative activist and founder of Turning Point USA was shot as he was speaking to an outdoor crowd at Utah Valley University. He was rushed to a local hospital where he died. Utah Governor Spencer Cox reacted on the campus following the shooting.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox spoke as local media had a person of interest in custody. That person has since been released. Officials say the shot may have been fired from a rooftop about 200 yards from where Kirk was speaking. Surveillance video shows a person in dark clothing who may be the suspect.
Well, Nathan, Charlie Kirk's assassination has sparked shock and anger on both sides of the aisle. President Trump posted a video tribute on Truth Social last night.
This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
And in that video message, President Trump blamed rhetoric from, in his words, the radical left for contributing to the violence. Democrats are also condemning the attack. New York's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez reacted on Capitol Hill.
This is horrific. This is awful. And the assassination of Charlie Kirk risks an uncorking of political chaos.
And it adds to a series of political violence in recent years, including the murder of a Minnesota Democrat earlier this summer, an arson at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home, and 2 attempts on President Trump's life last year. Charlie Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. He was 31 years old.
And Karen, Charlie Kirk's death comes a day before Americans mark 24 years since the September 11th attacks. This morning at the World Trade Center site in New York City, the names of the nearly 3,000 victims will once again be read aloud. We get more from Bloomberg's Lisa Mateo in Manhattan.
The first moment of silence comes at 8:46, marking the moment Flight 11 struck the North Tower. After, houses of worship will toll their bells throughout the city, and then families of the victims begin reading their names in pairs. The next moment of silence comes at 9:03, when Flight 175 struck the South Tower. At 9:20, we get moments of silence at both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Silence happens again at 9:37, the time Flight 77 struck the Pentagon. At 9:59, silence marks the time of the fall of the South Tower. 10:03, we observe silence for the time Flight 93 crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The day's last moment of silence happens at 10:28, the time the North Tower fell. The full commemoration concludes in the noon hour after all victims' names have been read. In New York, Lisa Mateo, Bloomberg News.
All right, Lisa, thank you. We want to turn now to the trade war. Mexico plans to impose tariffs of as much as 50% on products made by China. We get more with Bloomberg's John Tucker. And, John, what's behind this move?
Well, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum, Karen, is aligning her country more closely with U.S. protectionism. She's hoping to appease President Trump ahead of talks over North America's free trade deal. Mexico has become the biggest destination for cars from China. And that doesn't sit well with President Trump as he wages a trade war with China. The higher Mexican tariffs will apply to a list of more than 1,400 categories of products, including autos. China, South Korea, and India are among the exporters that will be hit. Mexico has replaced Russia as the top destination for exports of Chinese cars. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, they ship their China-made cars to Mexico and other parts of Latin America where they're sold relatively cheaply. Well, the U.S. and Canada have a free trade pact with Mexico known as USMCA. And the terms of USMCA, they call for a review next year, which may open the door for renegotiation between the countries. In New York, I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, John, thanks. Well, the CEO of one of the world's biggest banks says the impact of global tariffs on the U.S. economy and Fed monetary policy remains unclear. We spoke with UBS chief Sergio Ermotti in Hong Kong.
The true issue on tariffs will be seen on consumers. In the U.S., we will need to see exactly if there is an inflationary aspect of tariffs. And
is that still unclear at this point?
I think it's unclear.
That was UBS Chief Sergio Armati speaking with Bloomberg's David Ingles in Hong Kong. For their full conversation, head to the Bloomberg Podcast channel on YouTube.
Well, Nathan, we also caught up with another banking boss this morning. Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser says the U.S. economy is proving resilient due to robust consumer spending and that she does not see a recession on the horizon. Fraser spoke with Bloomberg's Jumana Bersetchi in Dubai.
I still see very strong pipelines. I see high level of engagement from clients. I see a sense of urgency as well, given the speed with which industry structures are changing. And there is still growth opportunity. I think growth will be a notch lower. We're keeping an eye on the labor market. It's a low churn market. So not everything is rosy, but we don't see a recession on the horizon.
Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser also said merger activity is rebounding as U.S. companies gain confidence from clearer policy signals. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.